Good morning, everyone. I know I've been absent for a couple of weeks. I'm actually filming this very late, and I probably will not post it or upload it until Tuesday. I'm filming it on Friday morning because it's the only time in my schedule I had to do it. Sometimes life just gets in the way. Today we're going to use a stamp set, a bundle, several bundles actually, that are featured in the new mini catalog, and I had ordered them from Stampin' Up, but unfortunately something happened and they did not get mailed out, so therefore I have them here and I will be passing them out at my studio. So today's card is definitely a fall feeling card, using some bundles. I just made it into a thinking of you card, so you could make it in anything you want. You could do birthday. I just put you're simply the best, and I can write whatever I want on the inside. So for the products that we're using today, let me put this right here so I can watch. We're actually using the Gathering Moments bundle, and this is actually comes in a whole suite, and there's the paper and everything that we're using. And I didn't bring any paper over here extra to show you, but here's the stamp set, and here are the dies, and it features two really large leaves, and the nice thing is these two cut out together. As you can see, I taped them together when I cut them, and it put the little holes in the veining in the die. And so we're using that, and that's really the only die that we're using. Let me get this back in here. We're also, as part of that suite, is the Gathering Leaves 3D embossing folder, and we are using that, and I think you probably can see the design on that. For the Thinking of You is coming from the Beautiful Motifs stamp set. This is a in the new the annual catalog. Here's the other set that comes along in the suite of the Gathering Moments, and here's where I got You're Simply the Best. Now, to cut out our little label here on the front for the Thinking of You, I actually used a set that I think is really cool. It's called More Messages, and there is a stamp set, and then there are the dies. So you can stamp this out, and then these dies, they all match up to, if I can get it off my magnetic sheet here, they all match up to the sayings, and I don't know exactly how they match up. I haven't used it yet like this. I think, oh, there we go, like that. So you can, as you can see, you can cut them all out, and then you already have your labels. Now, it didn't really have a Thinking of You on here, and that's what I wanted to use. So what I did is I just cut out a sheet of just the blank labels, and then I picked out the ones that I wanted to use, and I'm actually using, which one am I using? I'm using this one right here is the one I chose to use. So I've run this through a couple of times just on blank sheets of paper, and now I have all these different size labels that I can use with any stamp set, or I can use it with the one that goes with it. So I think that's a really neat idea, and it saves me some time. We're also going to be using one of our blends and just going to kind of outline our first layer of Old Olive. This is the dark. In the suite comes two spools of, what do they call this, baker's twine? Linen thread. So Old Olive and Early Espresso, and we're using the Early Espresso. And then the embellishments are Cajun Craze and gold dots, and that's what we're using for our embellishments. So it comes together pretty quickly. It's not a real difficult card. Oh, and I didn't bring it, but this is designer series paper that it's also part of the Gathering Moments suite, and it's gorgeous. And I don't know if you can pick up the gold on some of this. It's just got this beautiful gold, and some other side of it is a very subtle pattern. But I absolutely love the paper. So in our packet, you're going to have a crushed curry card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You'll have a piece of Old Olive for our first layer. This is 4 by 5 1/4. For the inside piece, you'll have a piece of basic white that is 3 3/4 by 5. You'll have a piece of, this is the Beautiful Designer Series paper, and I believe this is 2 by 3 3/4. And then there is the die, the large leaf that I cut out, and you can see the holes that are in it and how neat that is. And then I did emboss it, and I don't know if that'll show on the camera or not, but I did emboss it with that embossing folder. You'll have a little tiny piece of designer series paper. I think this is about 3/4 by 1.5 inches or so that I'm going to use on the inside layer. You'll have a little piece of basic white that we're going to use to cut the label for the Thinking of You out of. And then you'll have a early espresso bow. As always, if any of these things look interesting to you, you can go to my online store at sharingmini.stampinup.net. My blog, this will be posted on my blog later today. It's simplylovestampin.com, and you can always reach me through my email at suaddicted@gmail.com. This is a card that we will be doing in our class next week. So to start off with, the first thing I'm going to do before I do any stamping is I'm going to take this Old Olive layer, and I'm going to take my brush end of my Old Olive Dark Blend, and I just want to highlight the edge of this just to get it to stand out just a little bit. I think they call this distressing or whatever. I don't really know. I just like to do it. It adds a little extra to the card, and it doesn't take any time. I always use the side of my blend so that I don't destroy the tip. And there we go. And that's all there is to that. Very quick and easy. All right, let's do some stamping. So on the inside, we're just going to stamp You're Simply the Best, and then there's a leaf and a mushroom that comes in the stamp set, and we're going to stamp those. These are distinctive stamps, so you see that you get kind of a different layers, darker for the veining, and just kind of gives you a more realistic look. And so we'll take this 3 3¾ by 5, and we're going to stamp in. I don't think I showed you the color we're using, but this is Early Espresso. That's the only color we're using. And hopefully I can get this straight and I won't get my head in the camera. Just kind of, not too bad. And then we're going to take our leaf and we're going to do it kind of over in the left-hand corner. And then we're going to do our little mushroom. And then the same treatment is going to be on the envelope. We're going to do our leaf. And our mushroom. That ties that all together. And then the only other stamping we're going to do is we're going to do our little label for the front. So I cut out a few extras here. So this is the label that I cut out of the what's it called? More Messages. So I cut it out of this one right here, just like that, okay? And that's what we're going to use to stamp on, and it is a small space, but we have photopolymer stamp, so we can see right through, and hopefully I'll get it reasonably straight. So we will ink this up, look right over it, and put it down. And there we go. It's a little crooked, but it's not that bad. You know what? Let me try one more. I have one extra. We can just try. And we'll choose the best of the two. How's that sound? I always line it up on the lines on my grid sheet. Helps me keep things somewhat straight. Well, they're both about the same, so we can use whichever one we want. I'll keep an extra one for another card. I'm doing several of these for a swap I'm involved in. Okay, so now we'll just take and start putting this together. We will take our inside piece. put a little bit. You don't have to cover the whole thing. A little bit of this. This is Stampin' Seal from Stampin' Up, which I love. It's a little finicky from time to time, but it sure does stick. And I don't have to worry about my cards coming apart. So by 3 3/4 by 5, you have a pretty nice border. I'll just put that on. And then on the front, we will take our old olive piece that we went around the edges with, and we will, again, put just a little bit of glue on it, or adhesive, not glue. I'm not using glue this time. I don't think I'm using glue at all. And we will stick this on the front. You have an okay margin. It's not border. It's not super big, but okay. And then we will take our piece of beautiful designer series paper, and we're going to put that right over here on the side and kind of keep the margins top and bottom in this left side as even as we can. Again, we'll use our tape. I love fall colors and stamping fall cards. Fall's kind of one of my most favorite times of year because the weather is still beautiful and nice out, but it's cooler and not blistering hot. So we're going to put this down. And then on this big leaf, I did use some Stampin' Dimensionals. And let's see. Oh, yes, I do have some. So there are some fairly large places that you can put a dimensional that you don't want to, you won't have to worry about it showing through on through your holes, your veining on your leaf. That's a concern that you want to be aware of. Just kind of watch. And, but there's plenty of spaces. And if I want more, I kind of wanted some around the edges. So I took my mini dimensionals and I just put a couple. Now this one here has a big space. I could use another big one. This one over here has this pretty small space. And I just like to keep it, as I've said many times, I like to keep them quite a few dimensionals so they don't get squashed so badly when they go through the postage machines at the post office. Okay, I think I'll do one more big one right here in the middle, and I think we're done. Okay. Quite a few, but that's okay. That's the way I like it. Now, you know what? I see one more place that's probably going to fall down. I'll use one right there. Okay, there we go. Now I am done, I promise. Hope you're all doing well. We've had a pretty hot week, but this, like I said, this is Friday the 12th, and it's a nicer, cooler day, and it's going to be a cool weekend, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I think we were in the low 90s yesterday, 91, 92. It's been a very tragic-filled week, as I'm sure you're all aware. We had a shooting at a high school here in Evergreen. And then the Charlie Kirk assassination. And to be honest, I didn't follow Charlie Kirk. My husband and I don't watch much news. We gave it up quite some time ago because it's just so depressing and you never know who's telling you the truth anyway. But I've read a lot about him since, and apparently he was such a good conservative person and trusted in the Lord, and now he's in a much better place, but it's very difficult and sad for his sweet family. All right, so on this one, the greeting that's going on the front, oh, and look at there, I just smeared that, so I think we'll use the other one. Glad I had a second one. So this is, the leaf is already popped up, so if I were to pop this one up, I would either have to put one on this end and two on this end, but two dimensionals. But I don't want it that high, so I'm going to put a dimensional on this end, and then I'm just going to glue it to the actual leaf. And this one I have to use a mini because this is a pretty narrow And I think I have room for a couple. I guess I lied when I said we weren't going to use glue, because I am going to use glue to get this put down. And I have my small applicator here, and hopefully it's not clogged up, and I can just use this to, yeah, it's got some. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of, you can place it wherever you want. I kind of put it right here. And that way that makes it all level and all across. It's very level. And then the other thing we're going to do is, I don't seem to have any glue dots over here, so that's not a problem. Oh yes I do. They're just stuck at the bottom of my little container. All right, so now we're going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of ball it up so it's not so large. And then I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to stick that right on there so it gets held in place. Now the tails are a little bit long, although I kind of like the curviness, but they're too long. I did make this into a double bow. I just thought it added a little extra. And then we're going to do some embellishments. Again, these are Cajun craze, and these are available as part of this suite. So I'm going to take a large one. These come in 3 sizes, and they're beautiful, and they have the tiniest little bit of gold. I don't think it's going to even show, but they have gold in the flecks in the embellishment. And then I'm putting a medium-sized one and a small one. And I believe we are, oh no, I'm sorry, I have to do one more little thing. I have my little piece that I flagged the end on, and we're going to put that on the inside. I should have done that earlier, and I totally forgot, but we can still do it. So I just put it right up here at the top, and I did leave a little border on the side. Just kind of dressed up the inside a little bit. I thought it was kind of pretty. I liked it because I love this paper. So there we are. We are finished with this card. It wasn't too bad. It didn't take too long. As always, I thank you so much for taking time to spend with me, whether you do it in the daytime or the evening or whenever. I really do appreciate it, and any views that I get helps my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's under Sherry Minnie. Please do so. Again, that helps me a lot, and it'll notify you when I do a video. I try to do one every week, but sometimes my life is so busy I don't get it done. But again, thank you so much for taking time to watch, and may God bless each and every one of you. And hopefully I will see you soon. Bye-bye.